everyone, it's Di from Di's Den, and today I'd like to show you how I made this card. Now I did see this on Pinterest, and it actually was one of them cards I thought, oh, I'm going to have a try at this. So I sat there and worked out what sizes I sort of needed to get that shape, and this is what I came up with. I do believe that the lady that had put it on Pinterest was from a European country, so the words that were written with it were all in German, I think it was. So I just thought, well, I'm going to have a try. So I had a play, and this is what I came up with. Because I did there was a bit of a link to a video, as I say, but it was in a foreign language. So it was a little, just a tiny bit too hard for me to understand. So I knew how these sizes how these shapes were made. So this is my sizing. I don't know what her sizing was because, as I say, I couldn't understand a word she was saying. So I'm going to do this as a birthday card now. I've done these two Christmas ones. And I'm going to be using a lot of old products. So the only thing I'm going to be using new is the Unbounded Love for the Happy Birthday and May Your Wishes Come True, and which is just coming out the side here, this die for my Happy Birthday to go on the front. So that's what I'm going to be using out of this one. And then I'm going to be using this set for these little flowers here, or this artistically inked one. I just thought that they look really nice. So now I'm going to be using Old Olive and Peach Pie. Peach Pie is very similar to another colour we had a while back. I can't think what it was called. So it goes with the paper. So this is my cards bits. Let's pop those cards out of the way for a moment. Okay, so I've got a bit of ribbon here. I'm going to make a little bow to go on the end. So I've got more than enough here, but this is in this same colour, so that's why I'm using it. Alright, so this is Peach Pie, and this piece measures 5 7/8 by 8 1/4. Okay. For my front, I'm going to need a layer that measures 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, and a DSP layer, which I'm using this beautiful paper, which I think is upside down. That looks a bit better, which measures 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. Okay, for my insert, I'm going to show you the insert bit next, which is the same size as those layers, which is, this is my insert, and this is 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, and my white piece is 5 3/8 by 3 5/8, but we'll pop them on one side because they go in after. Okay, oh, and I've got a piece here of Designer Series paper, which is 5 3/8 by 1 inch. Just put down the side. That's my label. I've already cut it out. So this piece measures about 2 1/4 by 1 1/2. So I'll pop that on one side. And then we need 3 more pieces for the front. This piece measures 5 1/8 by 3 my goodness, I can't even read that. 3 3/8 by 5 1/8. Then this piece measures 4 5/8 by 2 7/8, and this piece, which is the opposite side to that, but I'm going to use this side for that piece in the middle, measures 4 1/8 by 2 3/8. And then I have to say I've got a piece of ribbon, and that's optional as well. So let's pop all them out of the way, and let's bring in our scoreboard and do our tiny little bit of scoring. Okay, so we're going to score our main card on the long side with the small ball at the 4 1/8 side. So that is all the scoring we have to do. Okay, so now I'm going to fold and burnish my card. It's just easier to work this way. So we're going to do all of our cutting before we do anything else. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer, which I have up the right way. What am I talking about? Okay, and I'm going to pop this one in here, and I'm going to measure from the right hand side at the top 1 3/4 inches. Now I'm going to do on this on the inside, so I'm turning my card inside out and I'm using a pencil, and I'm going to measure at 1 3/4 inches. So I'm measuring from that groove there 1 3/4 inches, like so. Then we're going to turn this around. You can do it the other way if you want, and we're going to cut from that 1 3/4 inch mark down to the corner. So let's pop this in here. So we need to make sure that 1 3/4 and the corner of the card are in the groove, and we're going to cut that off like so. So that's the front of our card. Now don't worry, because that looks weird because of the fact that we've cut it upside down. Just use your bone folder just to smooth that down, and you get that same edge. Excuse me, as before. So that's our piece that we've cut off. So it's 1 3/4 inches from the top, right hand side, and cut it down to the bottom, right on the right hand side. So we've got our pieces like this. Now I'm going to pop them over there like that, because we're going to use the next piece along in our front pieces. And this piece is the piece that measures 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. And we're going to pop this in here at the 2 1/8 mark. And we're going to put a mark. And we're going to cut from that 2 1/8 mark down to the bottom right hand corner. So from that 2 1/8 to that bottom right hand corner, making sure they're in the track. And we're going to cut them off. Okay, so we're going to leave that one there and pop that one on there. Then we're going to bring in our DSP layer, and we're going to do this. We're going to put this in here at the 2 inch mark, and we're going to put a mark at the top, and then we're going to cut from that 2 inch mark down to the right hand corner again, making sure it's in there nicely. I'm going to pop that into the middle because it's starting at the bottom. Okay, so that's this part of the front done. These all layer on here nicely like so. Okay, then we need to work on these pieces. This piece we're leaving as is. The green piece, or the first layer, we are now going to pop this in here with the straight edge on the right hand side, and we're going to cut off 1/4 inch off of that piece. Right off like so. That will then give you our layer onto this one. Now that piece becomes scrap in the bin. Then we're going to do the same with this one on this edge, this straight edge. We're going to pop this in here at the 1/2 inch mark, and we're going to cut that off. So we have a tiny bit and that long stretch piece, and that becomes that layer on there. It's like so. Alright, so while we're at the cutting stage, we are now going to cut our 3 layers like for the next section of the front. So each of these gets cut from the left hand top to the bottom hand right. If you cut it the wrong way, just turn these pieces that are just designers cardstock up the other way. It's only the designer series paper you have to be careful of. So we've got one like that. We're going to cut the next one the same way from the top left to the bottom right. Like so. And then this is the same paper, but we're using this side. And again, we're going to top left to bottom right. Now, this is a good card if you're going to make 2 the same, because you only need to do that piece. you have this one here, like so, and this one here, but when we turn it around, it's the same. So unless this designer series paper is directional, these are going to be exactly the same. So if you're going to make this card twice, you only need to make this piece, which will cut out of the one piece there. You won't need to do this section twice. So these are discarded unless we're going to reuse them, which I will make another card out of this. And that is all of our scoring done, our cutting done. Okay, so once we're done with our cutting, we're then going to put our layers together. So let's do pop our layers together and pop them onto the front of the card. I'm getting a bit low, I need to fill up. Now you could do it all the same colour on the front if you wish. As I did with that one, I did it all the same colour. The other one, I changed it up. I did the, oops, I got those with me as well. I've got the two colours. It stands out a lot better. Alright, so we'll pop this one onto the front of the card. Okay, so we're going to work on this one layer first. So we're going to pop these all together. So I need to make sure I put the right side. I know it's one of those cards that looks a little bit daunting because of the fact that you've got all these cut pieces, but it actually goes together really, really easily. Okay, so now we've got that piece done. We're then going to pop this card, make sure it's closed, pop that down in the bottom corner, and we're going to whiz this around until it is not hanging over the top or the side edge. So mine will go down to the bottom of the the second layer, the first layer there, like so. So I found it easier to turn this over like this, and just using my pencil, I just drew a line underneath where you can't see it. And it's very faint. In fact, I can't even see them. That's how faint it is. Whoops, let me close this. Okay, because we don't want it to be over the edge, because if it's over the edge, it's going to be hanging off the top and or the sides of the card, and we don't want that at all. So let's pop that over again, and let's see if I can draw a line now. There we go. Alright, so the reason I did that is so that I can know where to put my glue, and I've done it lower down so that I know that it won't show and my glue won't show either. So I'll close the card again, pop it down where I know I've started from, and then work it back to where it was, like so, in that corner. Get back in that corner, there we go. Alright, so, and you can see that there's no glue showing and there's no paper drawing pencil line. Okay, so we've got that one on. Let's pop that one over there for a moment, and we'll glue these three pieces together. And this one onto here, making sure that it's nice and even all the way down. Okay, this one then lays on top of the other one, right in that corner like that, on top, making sure once again that it doesn't go over the edge of the side of the card here. And once again you can turn it over, just lifting it a bit so that you know where to put your line and for your glue, and pop that onto the glue onto this piece. And because of the fact that it's lined up in that bottom corner, you'll fairly well know that all you've got to do is move that top around so that it's not over the edge. Right, so now the lady that I saw make this actually put these all up on dimensional layers, and I found that it looked a bit bulky because of the fact that it was really quite bulky up this way. And it's bulky enough because if you've got, you know, what have you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 layers just in this section here. So I didn't think it needed to have the dimensionals between, or the foam pads, depending on what you use. Okay, so that's the front of our card done, like so. And let's pop that over on one side for a moment, and we'll bring in our tag, and I'm going to stamp that with Old Olive, and I'm going to put the words, and these blocks really need a good clean too. I'm going to just check that because of the fact that I just re-inked it. Yep, that's fine. Okay. Oh, it's not going to stamp on that. My goodness, I nearly stamped that wrong, didn't I? I'm going to stamp the happy birthday on here. There we go. Alright, so while I've got that, I might as well stamp this piece here, which is with that "May all your dreams come true." And I'm going to pop this down the side here, right up against this edge. Let's pop that out of the way so we don't get pieces of green on us. Now if you wanted to, you could cut this down, or you could, I'm going to put on the instructions that this is optional, this piece. You don't need to put it in here. It just gives the inside of the card that little bit of I don't know what you want to call that, a little bit of interest. Come on. I do hate these new ones when they are brand new. I have trouble opening them. Oh my goodness, I'm having a lot of trouble opening this one. There we go. They just seem so tight sometimes. So I'm not going to put anything in this top corner because of it will show in the this top corner. So I'm going to stamp down in this bottom corner, just to put a little bit of interest on the inside of my card. Okay, let's glue these pieces together. A pin in the glue because I think I've finished with it. Oh no, I haven't. I've got to glue it to the inside of the card, haven't I? How silly am I? Now I can put the pin in the glue. Okay, so then we're just going to pop this onto some dimensionals and pop them down the bottom. If I've got any on here, I've got 4. Oh, that's all I need. No, I don't need 5. Never mind. I have some little ones here, so I will put a small one in the middle. Like so. I don't like things that bend in the middle. Okay. So I'm going to pop that just down here, like so. And I've still got that stuck on my finger. I'm going to make a bow out of this, so I'm just going to do the rabbit ear bow. Not that I'm ever very good at these. Never very good at doing these. Okay. So we need some glue dots to put on the back of them. If they stick, I like to put 2. I'm going to pop this in the corner here of my little saying. Then I will trim these to match. I'd like to fold them in half and do that, oops, so that they look a bit fancier without cutting my finger like I just did. Thank goodness it didn't bleed, but I did cut the skin. Okay, so that's my bow on there. So I've just got a few embellishments to add with it. So I'll pop the medium sized ones, I think, on there, and one up the top there, and one just down here at the end of the thing. And that's my card for today, and this is the last one for November. Would you believe it's the last one for November? We have really come a long way this year, and we are going to be carrying on with 3 more projects, 3 more Sunday projects, I think it is, for December, and then we will be finished until the new year. I will be putting the dates up at a later time. If you've enjoyed this card, and here's the other 2 that I made, and you'd like the written tutorial for this card, please head down below here to DieStem for stamping, crafting and tutorials. There you'll find the written tutorial. It will go live exactly the same day and the same time as the video does. It is a closed group, so if you do want to join, because you're not a member, you do need to answer the question, and I will see you all again next week. Bye for now.